They should all know this. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country and this world. You have no idea. You have no idea the fire that you have ignited within this wife. The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry. To everyone listening tonight across America, the movement my husband built will not die. It won't. I refuse to let that happen. It will not die. All of us will refuse to let that happen. No one will ever forget my husband's name, and I will make sure of it. The evildoers responsible for my husband's assassination have no idea what they have done. They killed Charlie because he preached a message of patriotism, faith, and of God's merciful love.
Girl.
But they should all know this. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country.
Erika, please. Okay? We give you some grace because you lost your husband. But the fact that you keep saying they, them, and you guys, who was you guys? They found the assailant. It is this man right here. Girl, I don't know what power trip they done put you on, girl, but get off that ride immediately. And instead of coming for all of the internet for what your husband was saying, you need to download JPay and talk to the person who did it.
What the fuck was that Erika Kirk thing? What was that? What was that speech that she just gave? That was some terrifying ass, creepy ass, weird ass shit. Okay? I'm sorry. Listen, she lost her husband. She lost the father of her children. I definitely can sympathize with that. And gosh, her children, that's horrible. Like less than 2 days after her husband was like suddenly brutally murdered, like looking into the camera and like threatening us. Like, what is she doing? Why is she acting like we did it? Bitch, go to the fucking jail and talk to that guy. Like, why are you like staring into our souls and like you're coming for us? Like, what?
All I'm gonna say, and correct me if I'm wrong, but did y'all hear Erika Kirk's speech, Charlie Kirk's wife? To me, it didn't sound like a wife grieving, but more sounded like she was delivering a message. She mentioned in her statement, they. Who the hell is they? From all the information that the FBI released, it was only one person. And his family and a family friend turned his ass in for that $100,000 reward. We know what happened. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but this speech sounded like it was directed to his following, his movement. Didn't sound like a wife grieving or addressing the nation. It didn't matter if you liked the guy or if you didn't. There's something hidden in this message, and only his followers or the movement will know.
So Erika Kirk just gave a speech about her late husband, Charlie Kirk. But let's be clear, this is not a grieving widow. This is the most dangerous kind of woman, the male-centered woman. She stood up there and she called Charlie the perfect husband, the perfect father, and she promised that his voice, his movement, his mission will live on through her. But what was his mission? Right, inciting hate against minorities, against immigrants, against black people, against queer people, against women, us. She is not just mourning, she is sanctifying a man who spent his entire career demonizing the very communities that he put at risk. She is taking his politics of cruelty and she is trying to baptize them in widow's grief so that they appear holy, untouchable, and righteous. And that is the male-centered trap. Women who build their entire identities around a man, no matter how harmful he is, and then become the mouthpiece for his legacy. It's the patriarchy's favorite tool because if she says it, suddenly it looks more soft, more emotional, more justified. But don't get it twisted, because Erika Kirk's battle cry of a widow is not about love or healing. It's about rallying people to continue her husband's hate. And that's why we have to call it what it is, dangerous.
Hello guys, and welcome to the Joy Report, where we get an outsider's view with an insider's clarity. Let's talk about Erika Kirk's viral speech. The wife of Charlie stepped up to the microphone after his tragic assassination and delivered words that shocked the nation. Now, nobody is saying she shouldn't grieve. Nobody is saying a widow can't speak her truth. But the way she framed that speech, the language she used, the message she chose to push at such a sensitive time, that's what has people, black folks, white folks, conservatives, liberals, independents, calling her out. Before we proceed, all credit goes to the creators of these videos. Let me play you a few more clips and I'll come back with more commentary.
Did y'all hear Erika Kirk's speech? Charlie Kirk's wife? It got the internet going crazy right now. She was talking a little aggressive. It don't sound like a widow grieving right now. Y'all, she said they can't solace him. Who is they? Would she know that we don't know? Do she know something that we don't know? And I don't know nothing, y'all. I'm not saying nothing. But it just seemed a little weird. Like, damn, like it took 3 different killers? First it was the old man, then it was somebody else, then it was a young fella that went home and told his daddy? Nah. Then you got a lot of people online talking about how quick the funeral was. Like, I ain't gonna lie, it was quick. Scroll up and the next one was the funeral. Even how fast the statements came out. They said that her demeanor and her tone was kind of like more towards the movement than it being for the family. Some people asking, is she talking as his wife? Or is she talking as a leader that's in his movement that he built? When y'all go watch the video, y'all come back and comment, y'all let me know. Did she have like a raw emotion or was she trying to tell a message?
I just want to say, I am so glad I am not the only one who saw that woman at the podium and was unsettled. Because it was just like the live of it on my TikTok, like whatever, on my For You page. I watched literally, maybe not even a full minute, maybe a minute and a half tops. And I scrolled because I did not feel right. It just felt horrific. And at first I thought I was just being dramatic, but I'm so glad that everybody was like, no, that was fucking weird. Because it was fucking bizarre. And I'm just glad that I'm not the only one that caught it.
See, Erika didn't just give a eulogy. She gave what sounded more like a rallying cry. A political pitch dressed up in religious symbolism. And for a lot of Americans, that just didn't sit right. Instead of healing, it felt like pouring gasoline on an already raging fire. Let's break down why people from all walks of life are pushing back against her viral speech. First, Erika Kirk stood there and said things like, the cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry, and you have no idea the fire you have ignited within this wife. Now, think about that. At a time when tensions in America are sky high, when people are already fearful that political violence is spreading, she chose to frame her grief as a call to battle. Folks aren't saying she can't be angry or hurt. She lost her husband, but calling it a battle cry, talking about fire being ignited, that kind of language hits differently in a divided nation. Critics, both black and white, are warning that this sounds less like mourning and more like mobilization, and that's dangerous because history has shown when grief gets weaponized into rage, it doesn't just stop at words. Then comes the political mobilization of grief. Instead of keeping the speech about her family, her pain, and her healing, Erika turned it into a pitch for Charlie's movement. She promised that the movement my husband built will not die. She encouraged young people to join Turning Point USA chapters and even vowed to carry on his college tour. Now, picture this. The man has just been unalived. The family is devastated. The nation is processing this shocking event, and instead of keeping it personal, she immediately ties his death to a political cause. People saw that as manipulative. It's not that people didn't empathize with her pain. They just didn't like seeing grief converted into a recruitment drive, especially when the movement she's promoting is one that's been accused of fueling the very divisions that led to violence in the first place. Another big concern was the religious and martyr framing. Erika said Charlie laid down his life for me, for our nation, for our children. Now let's be real. Charlie was not a soldier on the battlefield. He wasn't laying down his life for the country. He was a political activist who was tragically unalived. Casting him as some kind of martyr who sacrificed himself for the nation felt dishonest and manipulative to many. Black folks in particular called this out. pointing to how dangerous it is when political figures get turned into religious martyrs. Because once you do that, you're not just honoring a life, you're sanctifying a cause. You're telling people this isn't just politics, it's God's work. And when faith and politics get tangled up like that, it gives cover for extremism. White critics echoed the same concern, saying this is exactly how political movements drift into cult-like territory, by framing deaths as holy sacrifices instead of tragedies. And then there's the vague blame game. Erika never outright said who killed Charlie, but she kept referring to evildoers, they, and those responsible. Some people heard that and immediately felt like she was pointing the finger to all political opponents, even though the investigation is ongoing. Her words left just enough ambiguity for her audience to connect the dots however they wanted, and that's what worries people, because if her base takes evildoers to mean liberals or progressives, or anyone who disagreed with Charlie, that could put even more people at risk. Critics are saying, if you're going to speak in public about such a sensitive matter, you need to be clear and responsible with your words. Otherwise, you're just adding fuel to conspiracy theories and encouraging your followers to see their political rivals as the enemy. Black commentators especially pointed out the hypocrisy here, how conservatives love to condemn identity politics or victim culture, but then turn around and use broad strokes to paint their political enemies as literal evil. And here's the thing, people aren't heartless. They recognize Erika is in unimaginable pain. Losing a spouse violently is something nobody deserves, but the critique is about the choice of words, the tone, and the immediate shift to politics. White journalists have written that instead of being a moment of unity, the speech deepened the divide. And what makes this even hit harder is the timing. America is in a fragile place. Political violence is becoming normalized. Communities are scared. People are on edge. The last thing anyone needs is a grieving widow calling her pain a battle cry. Because no matter how she meant it, her supporters will hear it as marching orders. And that's why the criticism is so widespread. It's not just coming from the left. It's coming from regular people who are tired of seeing grief and anger weaponized. So here's the bottom line. Erika had a choice. She could have given a speech about love, about healing, about calling for peace in her husband's honor. She could have used that platform to bring people together, even across political lines. Instead, she doubled down on rhetoric that was combative, divisive, and politically charged. And people, black and white, conservative and liberal, saw right through it. That's why she's being called out, because words matter. And when the nation is this divided, the wrong words can spark something nobody wants to see. So what do you all think? Was Erika just speaking from raw emotion, or was this a calculated move to keep Charlie's movement alive? Do you think it's fair for people to call out her speech, or should grief excuse everything? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. I would love to keep this discussion going. Otherwise, that's it from me. I also have a few other videos on FAFO, and if you enjoy such kind of content, please click up here and enjoy. Also, consider subscribing, liking and sharing because it helps me grow my channel and helps YouTube recommend this video to a wider audience. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Until the next time, the Joy Report out.